Hey, what's up? What's up, everybody? Dan McCall here. Welcome to Whatever It Takes Wednesday, episode 11. We're here 11 weeks in. 11 is one of my favorite numbers too, so I thought it would be a cool day to do a reversal interview. I got my great friend Paul Biester here on today.
What's up, everybody?
And he's actually going to be hosting the show today. Feel free to drop any comments, any questions below as we do the interview. Me and Paul always have great conversations, so I'm looking forward to having some great conversations here and doing this show like it's the last show that we ever do too. You know what I mean? Because I like to let it all hang out there. You know, that's one of my things when I do things. If I feel a little bit nervous about it or something like that, I just go in there and I just do it like it's the last thing that I ever do, you know, like when I walk outside and I'm going or what. So, but yeah, what's the topic, man? Whatever you want the topic to be. We're going to interview, sharing my story, Cesar Torres, and we'll just go from there. But I'm going to tell you what, I know it's going to be a good conversation because me and Paul, we do these hangouts like once a month. We could probably call the show Lunch with Dan and Paul, and it'd probably be an awesome show because we have lunch together like once a month and talk for a couple hours. Sometimes I'll walk out of there and I say, man, this should have been recorded because somebody could have learned a lot of stuff from this conversation. You know, you ever feel like that when we did hang out?
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, the funny thing is, it's like you go in there and it's light, and then you come out and it's dark. Not really, but like, you know, yeah, it's almost as if, you know, we're in a time warp. Like you said, last show that we did together was super long, and it was like boom. I walked out of here. It was like 2 hours later, and it went so quick. So anyway, so yeah, I mean, you want me to just
pass it off? Yeah.
Yeah. So the idea today, I think, is kind of like this. Like, you know, Dan's been going 11 weeks strong, and what I love about Dan is he's a man of action. And it's funny, I consider myself a man of action, but there's times when he moves right into something and kind of takes me off guard. I'm like, wow, man, when you decided to do the show, I had been thinking about, hey, maybe I'd like to do a podcast or a show, and as I'm contemplating my next move, Dan's already moved, and he's 11 weeks in now, so, you know, I can pump him up because he's not going to do that himself. And so what we thought was, this is a really good opportunity to kind of dig into who Dan is. I mean, you see him on here every week. He's got guests on. He's trying to line up some people that bring value and teaching and hopefully some life experience that anybody that's watching can kind of, you know, dig in and get some life experience out of. So we just kind of thought I wrote a few prompt questions down to kind of dig into, and if we do stop and see something pop up as we're going along, we can integrate that question in as well. But I'm just going to go ahead and dig in. I'm going to use a question that Dan uses pretty much straight off the bat is, you know, everybody has a story. Everybody has something that got them to this point. You know, we've all arrived here with bumps and bruises and, you know, some victories and so forth along the way. Life tends to be a mixture. And so my question to lead off is kind of, you know, like, what's the history of Dan McCall? You know, how did you wind up here, and sort of who are you? Just kind of take some time and just unpack that, and I'd be interested, I'm sure our people watching would be interested to know, who the heck are you? He's a big boy.
Yeah, it's a great question. I always feel a little bit nervous now that the roles are reversed a little bit, but it's cool. It's cool and fun though, right? It's fun. So my name's Dan McCall. I went to Deffert, New Jersey. Actually, before that, I went to Woodbury, New Jersey. Born in Woodbury, Underwood Hospital. Yeah, and just grew up here in Deffert. I wasn't the smartest kid growing up. Matter of fact, a lot of my siblings are a lot smarter than me. Like, they're able to figure things out easier than me. One thing about myself is I'm persistent and consistent, and I don't ever stop. You know what I mean? I'm kind of like, you know, like I can. One of my strategies in life is just to kind of outlast everybody else. So I went to Deffert. As far as school goes, I didn't graduate. I got in a lot of trouble growing up. You know, I've gotten a lot of fights fights growing up. I just I was kind of brought up thinking that fighting was the answer, to everything. Like somebody didn't agree with me or something like that. Like I would think that that's the answer. Just because of my surroundings. My older brother got in a lot of trouble and stuff like that. Not to put him under the bus or nothing like that, but people didn't know Big J. Know that he's went to lots of bad schools and would be pretty rough on me. You know what I mean? Him, my stepdad, was an alcoholic, and he always roughed me up and stuff. So like I always thought that was like because of my environment and stuff like that and the way I grew up. I kind of thought that fighting was the answer, and I didn't even mean to even go into that. But I think that it relates to myself and my life to fighting being the answer in a different way now. Now that I'm older and more mature, because I know that fighting's not the answer. It's stupid. Growing up, that's how I was, and people that are from Biester or from the local area are like, "Yep." Nope, we know that about you. So high school dropout. I dropped out my second 10th grade year. Was introduced to entrepreneurship from a company. I went to a hotel meeting one night for a company called Amway. So that was like my first introduction to entrepreneurship. And I always knew I wanted to work for myself. I didn't like being told what to do in high school. In school, I didn't really listen. I only like to self-teach, to self-educate. I didn't really like people telling me what I should learn. I figure I will teach myself what I want to learn to improve my life and to better my own situation. I don't care about science. I mean, personally, what I mean. Social studies, it's interesting. What I mean, but. There's lots of things in school, that, let me go ahead and hit ignore on that. There's lots of stuff in school, that's taught that's not really important. And I actually had a guest on this show weeks ago, and he was talking about reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and he was angry that they didn't teach that stuff in school. So I'm not really upset that I dropped out of school, early on and got an early start in my entrepreneurial journey. Like I said, my first introduction to it was a company called Amway. I went to a hotel meeting. I wanted to get rich. I wanted to wear suits. It was cool to wear suits back then. Now it's cool to wear a t-shirt and jeans if you're an entrepreneur. Yeah. It seems like, doesn't it seem like
it's kind of going backward.
Like the trends changed a little bit.
It's like almost like dress down Fridays like all the time now.
Yeah, like how...
Look casual.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if people that are successful don't really have as much to prove anyway, too. Yeah. It's like really need to dress for success as much, I don't think. But yeah, so that was my first introduction to entrepreneurship, and I failed in that journey, in 1998, Amway. 2 years I failed trying to recruit my brothers and my sisters and my family and my friends and everybody, and I failed for 2 years. But one of the really cool things that happened during that time was I fell in love with two things that had made a major difference in my life. I fell in love with the idea of financial freedom, being able to come and go as I please, do what I want, when I want, with whom I want, just live life on my terms, right? That's like the definition of financial freedom. I fell in love with that idea and for working for myself and being able to create leverage, number one. And then number two, I fell in love with personal development, just nonstop, just growing and constant and never ending improvement, personal development. That's a pretty good way to describe personal development, I think, too. Constant, never-ending improvement, which Tony Robbins calls Kanai. So, but anyway, I don't want to go too. I mean, I don't want to ramble too much.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Yeah, so when you were drop in, I'm talking a lot.
No, it's all good. I mean, we want to kind of unpack it. Maybe I can give you a couple prompts or. It's funny, a couple of things. I mean, I didn't know about you. I didn't know that about you. I didn't know you started out in Woodbury. I didn't know you were kind of born there or whatever. But because I did Amway too, and I find it funny. We have these common themes, you and I, that seem to kind of go back, and there's a connection there. When you were in Amway, did they have the tape, 2 tapes a week that you got?
Oh yeah.
Right, and then you had to do a book a week or a book a month or something like that. And because that's almost the same way that I got hooked on the self-development thing too. I stopped doing Amway, but I took that away and I've applied that to kind of everything I do. Is that kind of how that worked for you? Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I mean, you touched on this a little bit, but I think a good segue, and just maybe just to button up this idea, why entrepreneurship? In other words, what specific reasons? First of all, you touched on this a little bit, launched you into entrepreneurship, and we all know that can be a struggle day to day, week to week, month to month. There's a lot of obstacles. Why stick with entrepreneurship? So, two-part question: why entrepreneurship from the start? What things got you like, hey, this is what I need to do, which you did touch on a little bit. But the second one is, in spite of all the challenges that comes, there are challenges, yes?
Oh yeah.
Why stick with it?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's a great question, and I think that I heard once our Gary Vaynerchuk talk about this topic too, and he was talking about how people are like true bred entrepreneurs, like they would rather, and I heard Mark Cuban talk about this too, like rather work 80 hours a week, on your own, rather, like entrepreneurs would rather work 80 hours a week to avoid working 40 for somebody else, it's just who I am, like just straight up, like completely blunt, like it's just who I am, like I don't have the best answer for it, but I like what Gary Vaynerchuk says. He says some people are just naturally like purebred entrepreneurs. Like I couldn't work for somebody else. I don't think it's bad. I think it's good. I think everybody has their place. And some people like I do these Craigslist ads for one of my services, and I talk to people and I always sandwich. I do this thing called sandwiching that I learned from coaching, where you talk about something good, then you say something bad, and then you talk about something good again. Yep. And I'll talk to them. I'll be like, I'm not really sure what type of person that you are. If you're the kind of person who wants to be able to come and go as they please, do what they want, when they want, with whom they want, live life on your terms, work for yourself. If that's the kind of person that you are, then what I have is probably for you. But if you're the kind of person that likes to be told what to do, likes to have a structure, kind of likes to follow someone else's lead instead, if you're that type of person, that's great. That's great. I totally respect it. Then what I have isn't for you. But if you are the kind of person, that wants a better lifestyle for your family, wants a better, wants like I said, wants to be able to do what you want, when you want, with whom you want, stop and start work when you want, take a lunch break when you feel like it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then what I have is for you. So like that's like my pitch, like when I'm talking on the phone to people, like when I do ads and they call me and stuff like that, because I'm trying to figure out who they are. And like back to your question, like who, why entrepreneurship, like that's that I want, and I'll fight and die for it. You know what I mean? And I won't stop. And I won't stop. I don't care if I have to work 15 hours a day to make my dreams come true, and to give my family a better life than I had. And it's not about the money, because money is just a tool.
Sure.
Money's just a tool. If you want better health, you need money. If you want more time, you need money. If you want to be able to travel, you need money. If you want a better lifestyle for your family, you need money. So like, being an entrepreneur gives me the opportunity to be able to choose how much money I make. Sometimes we don't always make as much money as we want, right?
Sure.
Sometimes you have might make $20,000 in a month, and then the next month you make -10 because the whole world comes crashing down on you. Right. And I've actually experienced stuff like that before. You know what I mean? So to sum it up, entrepreneurship and all that. It's just truly who I am personally, and I don't know. I don't really know exactly how to sum it up any better.
Well, I'm gonna close that point out, because I think if you hear what he's saying, he's really saying this is who I am. So in other words, being an entrepreneur, it's almost in Dan's DNA. It's literally he views it as not separate from himself. So it's a whole lot easier and a whole lot more of a, it's like, it's like when he's hungry or I'm hungry, I eat, because it's what I do. It's like Dan's an entrepreneur, and he fights and is willing to go through the struggles and do the hard things and work the time and develop himself because it's just who he is. It's literally part of his DNA. And it's almost like he wants that as much as he wants to breathe, right? So I think really to be successful and to weather the storms that come up, you know, when you're in your own business and you're calling the shots. I mean, to me, that there's no better answer than that. I think that's really a clear indication of your commitment. You know, you don't see it as separate from literally who you are as a person, and I think that is just an incredibly good answer, because I think a lot of people lack that idea. And we talked about this when you and I when you interviewed me. There's a book out by Michael Gerber called The E-Myth. And what the E-myth is the entrepreneurial myth. Now, a lot of times what happens is someone has a skill set and they work for someone, say like a plumber, and they're plumbing for someone else, they boss, and they say, hey, I could do this for myself. And essentially what they do is they wind up just kind of going out and working for themselves, but it's really not who they are. They don't have the commitment. So the first time they can't make a bill or they get a complaint from a client, you know, they may bail, because in their heart and in their DNA, they're a plumber, but they're not an entrepreneur. And I think there's a huge difference there. So, you know, if you're already in a business and you're working a business, you know, I mean, take what Dan said to heart. That is a huge thing. Are you that committed where he can't make a distinct separation of why an entrepreneur? It's just who I am, and I think that is an incredibly good answer.
And let me ask you a question right back too. Like if you went and worked for somebody else, like how would you feel? You know, like waking up every day and going to work, you just wouldn't feel like yourself, probably, right?
No,
because I know that you're just like me, and
Yes.
you have even more wisdom. You've been in business longer than I have, and you're like, oh, I'm not sure if you're right or not.
Yeah,
Well, you know, I just respect.
No,
I just respect you and everything like that.
That's
and,
cool.
And
it's mutual. You know that. Yeah.
Yeah, but like that's just how it is. Like, I mean, if I worked for somebody else, it would be a chess piece in the chess game. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
It'd be like, all right, my whole world came crashing down. I'm gonna go work for these people for 6 months or something like that to align these things, or even to learn a skill set for free and get paid for it. You know what I mean? I would do that too. Like, I'd work for somebody or another company just to learn a particular skill set. So to me, it would be like a chess piece in a chess game. I would be like, I'm getting educated right now for free, and I'm getting paid for it. You know, and I'd probably be working. I'd probably be doing the whole Tyrone thing. I'd be like working, you know, full time at my job, part time on my fortune or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
You ever heard that one?
I have. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's how it would be for me if I did work for somebody else.
So I mean, essentially what you'd be doing is just kind of like just biding your time to get back to building the dream that you have, that you want to do. I mean, a big part of that, like you said, is man, it's just taking, you know, I love how you say, and you say it with authority and quickness, you know, do what you want, when you want, take lunch when you want. I mean, to me, that's vital. I mean, I ride around like you, all these things, but when I plan the family vacation, I don't have to clear my dates with my boss, or, you know, and that's just having that decision making ability is big. So so I'm down with that. Yeah, that's awesome. So just get back to, you know, my questions. So, you know, we talked about, you know, why entrepreneurship. We talked about, you know what, I did want to ask you, because I kind of see, like, at one point you shifted from McCall's landscaping, right, into the you know, into electronic commerce, right? E-commerce. Is that right? So can you unpack for me a little bit?
Yeah, I can go into
like
that.
The differences. In other words,
in my mind, I was like, I stopped at like 1998 or 2000.
Yeah. So in other words, in my mind, and this is where, I mean, you talk about wisdom to me, and I'm going to let you just kind of free flow with that. But I'm interested to see, because you bring a unique experience. When you and I talk, you were in a green industry business. Like me, like I'm in the tree business. You did the landscape.
Yeah.
You ran crews. You had guys. You met payroll. You did all these things, and then you shifted into e-commerce. And I guess just I'm looking to see like similarities and differences in case anybody out there is currently either maybe doing both, or maybe they're doing a business like you were and like I am, and maybe they're considering transitioning. So anything you can just, I would say, to be concise, kind of compare and contrast the two types of businesses.
Yeah.
You know.
So yeah, so I'll just say it just like exactly it's been throughout the whole process, and you know, and just kind of unpack it, share my perspective. Not saying that any of it's right or wrong.
Sure.
And also talk about how my perspective changed too over this course. You know.
Yeah, great.
It wasn't like you know, it was like my perspective was one way. 5 years later is another way. 5 years later is another way.
Yeah.
Next year I'm like, did I make the right decision?
Sure. Yeah, but it's been a process.
Yeah.
Right? And hopefully, if we do this again in 5 years, your perspective will be different yet.
Yeah.
Right, because we want to kind of keep moving and
Yeah.
growing. But I'm curious. Cause,
Yeah, so I'll unpack my landscape story like
Yeah.
in as short as possible to pack it up and keep it interesting here. So with my landscaping business, it's kind of funny because, and I think I said this on another one of these hangouts. People were asking me about e-commerce, you know, because I coach people in that area with Amazon and everything like that, and they were asking me about like about like scalability, and I was like, you know, and I always think back to my landscaping business, and I think you're talking to a guy that took a lawnmower out of the trash from 3 houses down, brought it home, cleaned it up, like changed the spark plugs, like banged out the air thing and everything like that, and like cleaned this lawnmower up and started cutting lawns the next day with it for $20.
Yeah, love it.
You know, so like you're talking to, you know, like, so when people were asking me these questions, I'm like, I think to myself, everything's scalable. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of if you're disciplined or not. If you're disciplined and you're going to take action every day. So I started my landscaping business literally like that, out of a 1978 Delta 88 with my lawnmower in the trunk with it popped open with a bungee cord holding it down. That's how I started my landscape business, with a weed whacker hanging out the back. And a few years later, I had, you know, a 6-figure income, multiple trucks, dump trucks, couple trailers, multiple crews working, secretary, assistant, like all this stuff happened, but it didn't happen overnight. You know, I played the long game, you know, and I built, you know, and I built the dream or whatever, and it was kind of cool at the time because coming out of you know, being like a high school dropout, my friends getting out of college and getting jobs for like $40K a year. You know what I mean? Here I am. You know, they thought I wasn't going to come out to nothing, right? My school teachers told me I wasn't. One of my school teachers told me you're not going to come out to nothing. You know. So and
that's
you know,
a motivator, huh?
Yeah. So that was a good motivator.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciate my English teacher, Mr. Semino. He said, "You're not going to come out to nothing, Dan McCall." You know what I mean? So you know, he said that. You know, and I dropped out of high school and, you know, was.
Well,
doing,
that's an encouraging thing for a teacher of young people to say, right?
Yeah.
To put that.
Yeah.
To put that out into your head, right? I mean, hey, thanks. I had the same story. You know.
Yeah, so there's something people don't know. You know, good old Mr. Semino telling me that I ain't gonna come out to nothing. My English teacher in 9th grade. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I went on for the next 12 years with this landscaping business. And 2008, 2009, times got really hard. You know, I started not having trouble paying my bills and stuff like that because customers weren't paying me, and I would be knocking on their doors and trying to get my money and stuff like that. And it wasn't as I don't know, like my business compared to like my father's concrete business. You know, I'm doing all these little jobs, so I got like hundreds of people owing me a couple $100 each, which kind of is a little bit different than going and picking up a check for 10K or 20 or 30K.
Yep.
So it's like I'm like knocking on these doors and I'm worn out. This is in 2008 and 9. I'm worn out, you know, because I'm like, man, you know, the economy's bad. You know, the economy's bad around that time, right?
Yep, definitely.
So people are turning lights out inside and not wanting to pay me and everything like that. And I went bankrupt around that time too. I decided to go bankrupt, you know, like because you know, my bills were just too bad around somewhere around that time. And yeah, so times were rough. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna get back to focusing on my dream of financial freedom more. You know, like, not that I didn't have some freedom with my landscape business. I was able to come and go as I please, do what I want when I want, you know, with whom I want for the most part. You know, I drove around in my car all day and I listened to personal development all day, like 5-6 hours a day. besides lunch and besides talking to my workers and instructing things. I listened to a lot of personal development, so I was, you know, constantly and never-endingly improving my skill set all those years. You know, driving around in my trucks, but I was like, I want to have more freedom than this. So this is what, like I was saying, like this is my perspective at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't have as much freedom in this. Like,
Sure.
I want to be able to, leave and just go down the shore, go to an island or something like that, and not have to worry about if my workers were going to get in an accident and like I was going to be sued, because I actually did have my workers get in an accident and did get sued for millions of dollars and stuff like that, and that's when I went bankrupt, because that was my trigger. I was I'm going chapter 13.
Wow, yeah.
Bankruptcy, that happened to me. Like, so like I was like, I want a lifestyle where I can come and go as I please, you know, and you know, live life on my terms. Like I've said the description already a few times. Well, I just felt like I wanted more freedom, so I decided to get back into that space of like of that, and I decided to start building an eBay business from home. I had my cousin pick, pack, and shipment orders out of here for 2 years, 2008 and 9, and we didn't make any money. The whole time we just broke even the whole time, because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have any. I didn't have like what I call workout partners. Just like I didn't have like things that I actually learned through network marketing. That I learned from that network marketing. 2010, 2011, I got back into network marketing and was making a little over $1,000 a month. And for me at the time, I was like, wow, that's, you know, you can actually make money doing this.
Yes.
You know, like when you're you know, doing network, if you're doing network marketing or thought about it or checked it out before, you probably just were only able to pay your auto ship probably with your commissions, you know, like that's what people usually end up being able to do. So at the time I was like, wow, I can actually make money doing this. And I was like, wow, this is going to be the way that I'm going to get my financial freedom and retire and everything like that. And I went on doing that alongside of my landscape business in 2012 and 13. I decided to sell my landscaping business because I was at the top of a network marketing company, in the top 1 percentile or whatever, and I was making $1,000 days here and there, and things like that. It wasn't consistent $1,000 days, but it was enough to where I was like, oh, I can live off of this. Yeah. You know, even if I have $1,000 day once a week,
sure,
it's still $4,000 a month. I could still like live if I have to or whatever. So I decided to sell the business, and it took a leap of faith. You know, it took courage to do it, because it was like 12 years of my life. You know, a lot of people listening to this, whether live on the replay, just think about doing something for 12 years of your life and just walking away from it. You know what I mean? So I ended up living off of selling my assets along with my income from my new business. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy because one day everything's working out great. The next day your websites aren't working out correctly. You know, and people aren't even able to make payments. And then now you need to get paid because you left your one thing, and then you can't, you know, you're not able to collect payments because there's some problem with the merchants and stuff like that, you know. So that catches me up to like 2012, 13, 14. 2013, I got back into e-commerce, and I'm really grateful that I did, because it ended up over the next few years of being in like the network marketing space, it ended up being my cash cow, like me and you were talking about before, like it's not like your passion. It's not like your passion. Like, I think everybody should have a cash cow that's really actually not even their passion. You know, so it turned into my e-commerce, turned into my cash cow. You know, into what I just make money with, and in network marketing, I wanted to still build that dream, but like every time I kept falling on my face, you know, like I was able to, you know, get back up, you know, because of getting into the e-commerce space, you know, like with eBay and Amazon. It was able to save me from falling on my face each time. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that kind of catches me up close to date in my story, in my entrepreneurial journey. Did you have something that you wanted to touch on?
No. But it's actually a great time to interject the question that I've heard you ask before, and it seems like the timing is good because you're bringing a whole really good story and a good history, completely transparent with successes and failures, right? So, and it's funny because this is it's a page right out of your book, but you know, Dan McCall today, if you had a chance to go back anywhere in that timeline and give yourself one piece of advice. He's laughing. That's good. We're having fun. what would it be? I mean, you asked me that question, and it's funny because there's probably 17 pieces of advice you'd want to give yourself, and you know what? I'll let you give 2 or 3 is fine, but I guess what I'm saying is, if you had like one sort of linchpin idea that you knew X amount of years ago, and you could tell yourself that somewhere along that journey, what would it be that would have the most impact?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I never really got this question from someone else because I would usually kind of like talk about it on my own.
Sure.
And it actually makes me think about it a little slightly different
definitely.
in a way because now I'm really thinking about I don't know, just on a deeper level. If I had to go back to give myself advice for when I first got started on my journey, I would talk to myself in a comforting way. I think I'd be like, it's going to be a long journey, man. I think I'd be honest with myself. Like, it's going to be a long journey. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. And what you're going to want to do, is, one of the really big ones is you're going to do the old Jim Rohn thing. You're going to want to work harder on yourself than you do on your business. Mm-hmm. And the reason, one of the big major reasons why I say that is because people don't buy companies, products, or services. People buy people. So I would say to work on you, master your craft in all aspects of your life, spiritually, physically, emotionally, financially. I always talk about these healths, physical health, mental health, spiritual health. And I always talk about financial health on the back end, but here's the thing, if financial health isn't good, it does affect all these other healths, you know what I mean? So the importance of money is right up there with oxygen, right? Like Zig Ziglar says. But I would tell myself to work harder on myself than to do my job. And and it goes into like mastering thyself. And when I talk about mastering thyself, I would tell myself it's not what you do once that matters, is what you do a little bit each day over a long period of time that matters. So it's going to be very important to you, Dan. Like, yo, Dan. Very important to you.
Like something out of Back to the Future. Whoa, man.
Yeah, so I'd be like, it's very important. I would be like, Dan, it's going to be very important to you to become disciplined. To become disciplined. It's so powerful, the word discipline. I always do this with my hands when I'm talking. You ever notice that?
Yeah. And 3, and 1. And look, it's good for emphasis because you're.
Yeah.
And actually,
because I'm spelling out that word on the screen, discipline, because it's like that. Like that's what I'm seeing in my head. So like, I would tell myself to be disciplined, and the reason why is what I just said, because it's not what you do once; it matters what you do each day, a little bit each day over a long period of time. That really makes the difference, and that's why self-discipline is so important. And here's the thing too that I heard before too, and I really believe this too. I really believe in flow. You were talking about surfing and all. Mm-hmm. Like I really believe in flow. So like I believe that if you're not disciplined, I believe that when you're on your path or when something great's about to happen, if you're not disciplined and you take off that one time, or you stop right before you're supposed to jump. And then you're not able to jump then after that, like for some reason. Maybe you would, like, let's put yourself on a cliff, you're getting ready to jump, and you're getting ready to jump, and you're getting ready to dive into you're getting ready to dive into a water of a complete positive energy at like a 10 plus, 11 plus, like feeling. You're going to jump into that. But like if you didn't do it at that very moment, when you were supposed to do it because you weren't disciplined, maybe you might have just broke your leg right before you got to the cliff and were able to jump into that refreshing water. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to use a metaphor to kind of give you like a feeling. So like, that's why I think discipline, I will tell myself how important discipline is, because if you don't do it, if you don't jump when you're supposed to jump, that can set you back 6 months, a year, I think sometimes. I think one day, or when you're supposed to do something, like when you're feeling it and you're right there and you're supposed to do it and you get scared and you don't do it, I think that one time right there can set you back 6 months or a year in your life. I think it's like a whole, it's a real natural, like, spiritual flow. I think when you mess it up, it resets you. You know what I mean? So you might think I'm crazy saying that, but I'm just saying this is my belief. You know, I believe that if you mess with your flow, and that's why discipline's so important, that it can mess everything up. So I think if I told myself that, I think I'd be like, I don't know, maybe 10 years further ahead, like in my journey or something right now. Like if I had, you know what I mean? Like if I had better discipline back then, I think that I would be a lot further ahead, you know, because I would, would have mastered myself. And I would also tell myself too, so I'll do like a third one.
Yeah, that's great.
So like I would also tell myself to always go outside of your comfort zone and to always do things that you didn't do before. And when you're afraid, to just do it anyway. You know what I mean? Because and I would tell myself that you're going to be afraid. You're going to be afraid, and it's natural to be afraid, and it's okay. It's okay to be afraid, but like if you don't do things when you're afraid, you'll never be great. You'll never be great. You know, like if you don't do things when you're afraid, you'll never be great. Like that's what average people do. If you want to be average, you know, and I'm saying this to everybody, like no matter what you are, what you do, who you are, where you're from, no matter what, like if you work for somebody else, if you work for yourself, you know, if you're a stay-at-home mom, if you're the breadwinner, like whoever you are, if you're, you know, if you're just a kid living in your mom's house right now or whatever and working on your dreams or whatever, like whoever you are, like if you're retired from your job, whoever you are, if you don't do things when you're afraid, you'll never do anything great. Like if you stop, that's when you stop. That's like the cliff I was talking about when you're about to jump off the cliff into that refreshing times 10 water, like and just feel like the highest vibration. I'm talking like a spiritual level here right now. So like I'm talking like on a high vibration, like to be on living life on the highest vibration possible. You know, that's when you have to jump. You know, right there when you're on the edge and when you're afraid. You know, so those are like the three things I would tell myself, like if I was able to go back in time and do that, and I just let that flow. I mean, those are just my beliefs and my perspective. You know, I wasn't really, I don't know, I didn't even know it was going to come all out like that.
So can I ask you then, just as a follow-up, just to galvanize the point, because I think what you're saying is huge, and one of my all-time favorite, I see Raina's watching. What's up, Raina?
Hey, Raina.
She knows I'm a big fan of Jocko podcast, and his mantra is discipline equals freedom. So what I'm hearing you say is exactly that. So let me drill down into that and make you really think here. So just say like on a weekly basis, give me one thing that you feel, and it could be in any realm, it can be business, physical, parenting, any of the domains that you operate in. What in one of those arenas, what do you own the discipline thing in? Like what activity are you doing with consistent, persistent action where you're now seeing results?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and where I'm seeing results in, like you said, it could be anything, like financially, physically, whatever.
Any discipline.
So a couple of my disciplines, my daily disciplines. So this is a great question. It's a really, really good question because I think that this has really made me over the last few years. Because if you've been following me online or like in regular in-person life or whatever, everybody tells me that and I'm humble about it. That everybody tells me like I could tell to really see a lot of your growth over these last couple of years, and something that I've been really, really good at is in my daily disciplines, my daily activities is waking up every day, no matter what I do. When I wake up, I listen to at least an hour of something positive, and I work out every morning. And if I don't do those two things, in the morning, I'm not able to get as good of results, like you said. I'm able to like respond and react better to like awesome. to maybe customers on my Amazon business or maybe clients like for my coaching business. Like I'm able to respond better. And something that I do too is like people message me And I think it's rude to open a message on Facebook and not say nothing. So what I'll do is I'll just won't open your messages. You know, if I see you're messaging me. But like what I'll do is I'll make sure that I'm in a good state. Because if you bring my state down, if I wake up in the morning and you bring my state down before I'm able to bring my state up, then you'll knock me down and I'll feel depressed. I might feel depressed all day long even. Honestly, I felt depressed all day long, many days. You know, I get down, right, too, right? I'm human. So you know, so as far as like the disciplines, I would you know, some things that I just do. These are just things I do. I work out first thing in the morning. I listen to something positive first thing in the morning.
That's awesome.
Every single day. And I bring my like mental health. If you picture like a meter or something like that, I bring my mental health all the way to a 10 before I even talk to anybody else, because I know that they're gonna knock it down.
Yeah.
So like
the world has a way of doing it.
Yeah. So yeah, I know the world's gonna kick my ass maybe that day.
It's gonna try. It's always gonna try, right?
Yeah, I know it's possible. So I bring myself to the highest state I can. And then it always gets knocked back down, but like it comes back up too, especially when I like talk to people like you and like other people that are like higher energy, or just people that just understand me. Like even if you're energy high, I feel like you understand me better than like some other people because our lifestyles are similar, and I can like talk to you like you're, you know, I just feel like you understand me better than like a lot of other people do. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so that's why I encourage that too. Like in your daily disciplines, you know, I encourage you know, improving the quality of your network, because like that whole like mental health meter I was talking about, bringing yourself to a 10, those people will bring you back to a 10 like throughout the course of the day. Like if you end up engaging with them, they might be busy too because they're busy working their businesses and stuff like that. But like you get knocked down and you're like, hey, how do you deal with this, Paul? That's curious. I know you have employees and stuff. Like I have employees. Like, how do you deal with this when this happens or something? Even if he doesn't have the right answer, it'll probably still bring me up because it'll be like, he's going through it too, so I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah, exactly.
I know I'm not alone, you know?
No. I want to expand on something because I think it's vital, and if, you know, and just, I don't know if you want to say hi to anybody there.
Oh, yeah, sure. That's well. Yeah. Hey, Tricia, thanks for watching. Hey, Raina, we said hi to you. L. Campbell, Leafy, Caesar, thanks for tuning in. Jeff Torres, Dana Diamond, Josh Santana, Crystal Soul, Debbie Morris, Derek Pagaduan, Eric Foster, Kevin, Corey Smith. Cool. So thanks for all tuning in, guys. Michael Fowler, I always appreciate your support, man. You're always giving us that love button, man. I appreciate you, man. So that was a good idea to stop and give some shout outs. We appreciate you guys' support, and we're just happy to grow here right alongside of you guys. You know what I mean? So that's the idea.
I do want to hit on something. I want to make sure people don't miss this, because a lot of times, you know, when we're trying to reach a goal, there's a couple points you made I just want to touch on to make sure folks watching kind of get it. One is that the physical, how important the physical is to your entrepreneurial journey. Dan gets up first thing in the morning and he works out. A lot of times what we do, and I'm guilty of this myself, when I'm rocking and rolling doing business and I'm out on sales, sometimes I almost feel guilty if I stop and I go to the gym for an hour and a half because I think I should be doing more sales calls. But if I go on those calls and I'm not in a good state, then I'm probably not as valuable on that call as I could be. I'm not in the right state to deal with that person. Yeah. So I love what you say about how the physical, actually listening to something positive, yes, absolutely. But that physical, going out, whatever it is people like to do, the running, pushing weight, maybe a combination, maybe crossfitting, yoga, tai chi, martial arts, something that, you know, raises the level of your vibration and gives you good physical health. And I know you're a huge Tony Robbins. One of your favorite quotes that I hear you say all the time is that good motion creates good emotion, right? Mm-hmm. And I've heard you say that over and over again. And it's, you know, I guess what I'm saying is don't miss what Dan said and how important that is. Like, let's not compartmentalize and separate. It's that time invested in the physical is hugely valuable. And I just want to make sure, you know, everybody gets that. One other thing you said that I think is important, and I love what you were saying, you know, about, you know, sometimes people give up sort of right before that success. And I don't know if you heard this in your Amway business, but one of the big things they used to talk about, trickle, flow, flood. And that was like a theme they would say all the time. Trickle, flow, flood. Now what they meant was doing business. And it reminds me of your, what is your thing? Buy daily, sell daily.
Oh yeah. Buy daily, ship daily, make sales daily.
Right.
Yeah.
So what happens is it's almost like you're filling a pipeline. And it's almost like if you're out there and you're doing those three things daily, that's a discipline, right?
Yeah.
Daily, daily, daily. Now what happens is it's a pipe. And for something to come out the other end of that pipe, I gotta be stuffing the pipe. And I use a visual like I'm putting rags or socks in a pipe. And if I want that stuff to start come flooding out the end, I better be stuffing this end of the pipe. And I'm stuffing, and I'm looking at the other end. When's the flood coming? If I take a day off, that's what you say. Take a day off. You're going to cost yourself the flood. At first, it's going to come trickling out, right? Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of work here. But if I'm stuffing the end of that pipe, I can expect a flood. But if I sit back and today I'm not going to be disciplined.
Yeah. I
may cost myself that flood at the end. And that just, when you were saying it, man, it just reminded me of that visual.
Yeah.
And how important that daily activity. And guess what? Do you ever not feel like doing it?
Oh, yeah.
Do you do it anyway?
Yeah, most of the time.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, get that. Because,
yeah, because what I say is like, what I always think of like what I was talking about. Like, I'm like, if I don't show up, like that's going to make the difference between winning and losing.
That's right.
Between winning and losing, you know what I mean? So that's like momentum. Like I heard somebody say this before. They say you can't see momentum, but it's real. Like that's like
it's like gravity.
Yeah, like you can't see gravity. You can't touch it.
That's
you can't touch momentum, but it's real.
Yeah,
and that's like the whole thing of just like getting that flood, that trickle flow flood.
Yes,
I like that. I never heard
that was like a big Amway thing.
Trickle flow flood. That's good.
Yeah, and guess what? You can control the spigot, right? Depending on your activity.
Yeah.
Don't expect a flood if you're giving a trickle effort. You know what I mean? Like, when's my blessing coming? When's my flood? A lot of people walk around doing that, like, they compare themselves to others. Like, why is that person? They don't see the momentum you're creating.
Yep.
They don't see your activity.
Yep. Reminds me of some people that have had success, and they say, overnight success. 10 years in the making.
That's right. Exactly, man. Exactly. Yep.
Like I heard somebody said, similar to what I'm doing here with the show, and what you're here doing with the show. Like somebody was talking about, they were saying they want to be like Ellen DeGeneres, and they were talking about they want to be like Joe Rogan. They were talking to Gary Vaynerchuk about it, and he was like, "All right, well, you want advice on that?" He's like, "You've been doing this for 3 months." He's like, "You got another 7 to 11 years for that."
That's right.
And they were like, oh, all right. Like they were just like expecting some kind of results in 3. And so I think, in anything, a minimum 90 days to kind of see any kind of momentum or flow, So here I am, this is 11 weeks. This is like nothing. Compared to like big picture thinking, you know what I mean?
No, I agree. No, I love that.
So, but, yeah.
No, that's awesome. So it's funny. I mean, this is actually a question. Like, and it's funny because I learned something about you today I didn't know. But is there something like is there something that that those people that kind of know you might not know about you? Is there something like something it could be anything, like something you like hey, I like my favorite thing is like chocolate chip cookie, like something that's special to you that even some people maybe close to you might not know about you, like some different thing, like you're a secret chef, or I don't know, you know what I mean, like it's something like that, like something you can
I would say the closest thing like that right now, and my students in e-commerce notice about me. The only thing I can think of that's like that, it's like been like my like hidden thing I've been doing lately. Is I've been playing chess lately.
Ah, there you go.
So I've been doing it like I like to play chess like take my mind off of business, honestly.
Good.
So like I'll be playing chess. I've been playing against lots of pretty successful people too. Lots of people that like to play chess that are successful. I think it's a good game because it teaches there's two things that chess teaches. One, it teaches patience. You have to have patience to win in chess, but you have to have patience to win in life. And then there's and then the other thing about chess is it teaches like execution. So like trying to plan out moves like 2, 3, or 4 moves ahead of time.
Yeah.
So it teaches execution. So it goes back to that contradicting the whole like contradiction. How there's like a good contradicting saying to every good saying. Like good things come to those that wait. Good things come to those that don't wait. And they're talking about patience and execution. They're both important. Just a matter of like what, it's just a matter of like where you're at in the game. Where you're at in the game, whether it's in chess or life.
That's right.
Yeah,
it's
pretty cool, right?
It is cool.
I'll send you an invitation for chess.
Yeah, man. I never got.
You'll be all playing like in your truck.
That's all I need is another distraction. No, it's funny, but no, it's funny because I know Tim Ferriss has a lot of folks on his. He wrote that book, Tools of Titans, and he there's a couple folks that he's interviewed, high level entrepreneurs, billionaires and whatever, and they're like avid chess players. And I think it's
really,
I think it's for the reason that you talk about is, the strategic element, it exercises a specific part of the brain, strategy, patience, and you can always come against someone who can beat you. So humility, it's like Jocko talks about rolling in jiu-jitsu. It's like, as you move up in rank, that's great. It's like, but, actually going and occasionally getting tapped out, it's good. It's good because you're going to learn humility and you got to go back and work on your game. And that's not a bad thing. Yeah. Right?
Oh, yeah. Talk about not quitting. I got this he's on my Facebook, too. He might have come across this. I'm not sure. His name's Drew Berman. And he beat me the first 7 times in chess. And I never gave up. I beat him the last 2 times. And now he hasn't requested yet. So, hey, Drew, I'm calling you out, man, if you ever come across this video here.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, he beat me his first 7 times. First 7 times I kept playing him, and I beat him the 8th time, and I just beat him the 9th time, too.
Nice. That felt pretty good, right?
Yeah, it felt good.
So you were growing.
Yeah. Like my game changed. My game changed a little bit.
Now,
I remember having something bad happen to me, Paul.
Yeah, no.
Like in my business. Yeah. And something bad happened to me in my business one day. I'm like, this guy beat me in chess again, too. I'm telling Shannon, I'm like, this guy beat me in chess, this isn't working out in the business today. I just remember having a bad day in that guy. And and she's like, stop playing that guy. He's making you angry because he kept beating me, and it was making me mad.
Well, and hey, listen, what's interesting, and here's my takeaway from that is and kind of like, and I'm not trying to puff you up or whatever, but notice that in typical Dan fashion, what did you do? You requested again, right?
Yeah.
You played him again, and then you beat him, and now you beat him again. So that if that's not a metaphor for life, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
You go out and get your tail kicked. There's a I try not to be distracted in my business. I try to do what I
So you're cautious.
But I still have to know who my competitors are. I'm not going to let them dictate my terms in my game. This is my game, right?
Yeah.
But I know they're out there, and I know who they are. And when I lose a certain project to one of them, I get angry.
Yeah.
But I let that be a motivator. I kind of go, okay, all right, sucker, you won this time, but I'm gonna come back, retool. And actually, it's funny because we had a team meeting a couple of weeks ago, and I told my team, I said, that company there, I said they want to steal your lunch money.
Yeah.
And they kind of looked at me, and I'm like, that's. I was trying not to use like violence or whatever, but I'm just like they stole your lunch money.
Yeah.
Like, this is what they want to do. They want to come in and they want to take your lunch money. And I thought it was kind of a good tool. Like this is what these businesses that you're competing against every day are trying to do. There's only so much space in the market.
Yeah.
We're fighting for it. How good are you today?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah.
I think it's good to channel anger. You just take anger and you channel it.
That's
like you get mad about something, you just channel it, and do something good with it, and it's good to be competitive too, me and a lot of my friends that do the same stuff as I do, like we're a little bit competitive with each other,
gotta be.
we like to, yeah, look what I did today, and then when they're doing it, I always go back to the whole, you're not supposed to compare yourself to other people, but I think being a little bit competitive is good too,
Yeah, it drives you a little bit.
So and again angry because we all know we can do better, right? So
what it reminds me of, Dan, is being in a good martial arts school. You go in there and you roll with guys, or whatever your discipline is, whether it's stand-up fighting, Muay Thai, kick, block, punch, whatever it is. You form a bond with those people that you work out with all the time, and I want to go in and I want to have somebody challenge me so that I can be better. And God forbid a situation where I need to use it, they're not giving me this. They're giving me some good stuff that I can learn from, and we're competitive in there. But it's a good, healthy, like iron sharpens iron type of competition. You walk out there sweaty, and one of your boys gets you one night, and you kind of go, "All right, man, yeah, you got me."
Yeah.
But it's a fun, motivating type of competition. It makes you better. You agree with that?
Oh yeah.
But you also, the bonds you form in that fire are unique.
Yeah.
I'll see a guy I know, guys I've trained with at my old school, and I see him. It's, oh man, there's Mr. Yates, man. I haven't seen him in person in a long time, but I'm just like, I love that dude.
Yeah. I love that too. I love the respect that the mutual respect you get with people that are in the trenches, whether it's in business or martial arts. I totally feel that with martial arts too. One guy, we got our black belts around the same time, and we just me and his name's Ray, and me and him have this special bond. We worked hard and we fought through everything. Endeavoring to get that, and I could totally relate. It humbles you. It's good for you because, it's good for you. It's good for you to be humbled. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
By somebody beating you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know how just ask you, and I got another. What book are you currently reading? You working through a book or an email?
Great question.
What are you on to right now?
Great question. I didn't even open it up yet. I just got it in the mail. I'll pull it out right here. Just got this one in the mail here. Be Obsessed or Be Average. This is the #1 business book on Amazon right now, I believe. Still, it was. I don't know if it might have changed, but this is what I'm on to right here, right now. Be Obsessed or Be Average. I always get the audio CDs to play in my car. I know I'm kind of maybe that's old school. I'm not really sure.
No, that's good.
But yeah. So that's the book that I'm on now. I'm a big fan of Grant Cardone. Guess I'll drop in and say hello to these guys real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Nick DeFelice, Miriam, Daniel Sproul, Sean Humanchuk. What's up, guys? Thanks for joining us on the show. Thanks to my neighbor too. My neighbor,
nice.
they just put my. They just helped me put my water heater in. My water heater broke here. So definitely grateful for that. We didn't have hot water for a half a day. That was a little challenge.
Always.
But hey, it could be way worse than that.
Yeah.
10 times.
Definitely.
10 times.
So jumping off the book thing, that's the book you're on. Is there a book like when people are like, Dan, is there a book you've gifted more than any other, or is there one that's if someone's like, I've never read, and what's the #1 business book or personal development book, or where would you point them? What's
that's a great question. And I'm actually gonna interview this guy that I'm thinking of. I just gave him a shout out on the last thing. His name's Paul too.
Okay.
And I'm like, these Pauls, man. I really resonate with these. Paul, Paul Biester. His name's Paul Hutchinson, and he has this call called the Think and Grow Rich call, and they study the book Think and Grow Rich. Yeah. So if you see him tagged in something, you and him, I think you guys should friend request each other on Facebook if you see each other. But
that's cool.
But so I would recommend if I have one book, I'd recommend becoming a practitioner of Think and Grow Rich. The book Think and Grow Rich. Just like if you're spiritual, or religious, just like you're a practitioner of the Bible. Or if you're a Muslim, you're a practitioner of the Quran. If you're, I don't know, Jewish or something. You might have, I don't know how all the books work, to be honest with you, but like the financial book that I would be a practitioner of would be Think and Grow Rich. Not just read it once, but to put it and put it back on the shelf, but to actually study the book. You know what I mean? You leaving, baby? All right, yeah. Here she is.
Oh, you got her on camera one more time.
Yeah, got her.
Sure you don't want to say anything, Shannon? Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the one book that the number one book I would recommend as becoming a practitioner of it. That's would awesome. Be Think and Grow Rich, and I recommend my friend Paul Hutchinson's call, actually, because I like to listen to books. And they read them on there. So
that's awesome. I've actually jumped on that call a few times.
I got you jumped on that call a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually put my students onto that call too, like my coaching clients and stuff, because they're asking me this and they're talking about like all these how-tos, and I'm like, God, get your mind right, man. You know, because how-to stuff that doesn't matter if you're right, you can't handle downs. You know, so you got to work yourself and you doing business.
That's so true.
You know what I mean? Just summed it right up. That's, you got to work hard on yourself than you're doing your business. Because here's the business, the how-tos is this big, but you're this big. You know, like you're bigger. You know what I mean? I always like this. Is one of my favorite sayings too. I want to say this before we close out too. Is I forget if I heard it or if I think I might have reworded it. It might be my own phrase now because I do that sometimes. But you tell the size of the man, that's the man down. So like when you're talking about like, you know, something that's like a little problem, like that means that you're kind of little. Like you need to grow yourself. You need to grow yourself, because if you grow yourself, you'll be able to handle bigger problems. So what I like to do, because I've had some serious problems that I've encountered. So what I like to do, like especially if it's a financial problem, if it's like a $10,000 problem, I like to say like, well, if I want to be, if I want to be 10 times bigger than I am now, or have 10 times the results or 10 times the better lifestyle, I need to add a 0 to it. And so if it's a $10,000 problem, I'll add a 0 to it. But like, well, what if it was a $100,000 problem? Like if I want to be great, I need to be able to handle a $100,000 problem or $1 million problem. So like, why would I get upset about this $10,000 problem? You know what I mean? So like, if you can tell the size of the man by the size of the problem that gets a man down, you should pay attention to what gets you down. And you should work on bringing yourself up and growing yourself so you can handle bigger problems. So you like that?
I do like that a lot, yeah. And it's funny because it's almost like a little bit convicting, because some days I handle big problems with grace, and other days I'm on the road and I get rage.
Other days you stub your toe, man, and you're like,
yeah. So it's like it's got me. You're going, you're a little man if you get, and I'm going, oh jeez, like. Yeah. Oh boy, yeah. I got some work to do, man. But no, for sure.
Yeah,
it's definitely a good one. And I really love the idea of having to grow, grow your problems, because that means problems are bigger. That means the results are bigger, that you're getting,
Exactly.
Well, that was like I always heard that in sales, like don't be afraid of a no, because the more no's you get, it's all a numbers game. The more no's you get, just you keep moving, because the odds are coming in your favor where you're going to get a yes, and you just keep rolling through that. Don't let the rejection beat you down.
And you get the momentum too, so you know how to respond better to a reaction.
That's right.
Too, because if you like stop it, it's just like if I'm going hard with sales on something, then I stop because I have to do something else. Then I'm back in sales, and all of a sudden I don't react the same way because I messed up my flow, like I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think look, in Tai Chi we talk about energy, and energy is energy, and it doesn't matter, what it is, whether it's verbal, whether it's physical, whether it's momentum. Energy is energy, and energy begats energy. Energy is attracted to itself. Energy it's all around us, right? Sound like, it binds us. It moves through us, whatever. But I think it's almost like trying to pedal a bike up a hill, or, pedal a bike, just pedal a bike. It's easier to pedal the bike when it's already moving than it is to, what do? We stand up and we drive down on that leg to get that thing moving. It takes more to break that thing into motion than it does to keep it into motion. And I think if we use that analogy type of thing, right, I mean, that's essentially what you're talking about is, you know, just keep stuff in the pipe, keep the bike moving, keep going. You know, we talked at one time about running up the down escalator, you know, don't stop, stay in motion, you know what I mean? Like, and I mean, that's kind of what I'm hearing you say, and that in and of itself is a great discipline. You know, I know CrossFit was big on, like they're saying, was like, do work. Like, just do work. Like, just get up every day and do work. And even their rest periods were, it was active rest. You know, it's easier to stay moving, even if you just get up and go take a walk. Something simple, but you're still moving. And it's easier Monday to go out and go back to the box if you did something even simple on Sunday rather than just eat bonbons and lay on the couch.
Oh yeah,
you know,
I do it at the gym when I work out. If I work out, I'm doing like reps or something like that. I get up and I walk and breathe. And I walk back and forth, and then I come back and do it again.
Yep. Yeah, it's good. So you stay active rest.
Yeah, I don't just stand there like drink my water or whatever. You know.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I didn't know if you wanted to dig into anything else. I mean, we're an hour and 15 in.
Okay. Yeah, I know the time.
That's kind of all I had framed out for you.
Yeah. So let's just take the time to to thank everybody for coming. They came out, and and to encourage you guys to tune into the next week's episode. I'm not sure exactly what we're doing, and I just want to personally thank you for being here with me, brother.
Always,
and
pleasure. Yep.
Yeah, and we'll see you on the next episode of whatever it takes. Wednesday. Peace.